this notion that you're from the coast, you don't understand those things. You can't talk the language. You're not able to communicate. And you're not able to actually encourage and find that common ground.
It's stuff like there's a new law in this. I think we have way too many regulations and laws, as we've talked about. And this one, I think, says if you're a department store with over 500 employees, you have to have a gender-neutral toy department.
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
Yeah, I get it.
So do you think that's silly? Do you think that's a silly thing that we're too much government there?
Bill Maher left his audience stunned during a live TV exchange with California Governor Gavin Newsom as he challenged and pushed back against progressive policies. In a tense debate, Maher confronted Newsom on key issues, exposing contradictions and demanding clear answers. The discussion quickly escalated, with Maher refusing to back down, forcing Newsom to defend his stance under intense scrutiny. The audience's reaction spoke volumes: gasps, shock, and moments of silence as Maher dissected woke narratives right before their eyes. This must-see moment is making waves, proving that even within liberal circles, tough questions can't be ignored. Maher's sharp criticism of progressive ideology highlighted deep divisions within the left, revealing the growing challenge of defending certain policies when faced with direct confrontation. His bold approach signaled a shift in the conversation, proving that no political stronghold is immune to accountability. As Maher exposed inconsistencies, Newsom struggled to respond, underscoring the limits of ideological talking points when challenged with real-world implications. This explosive debate serves as a wake-up call, showing that even the most prominent Democrats aren't exempt from critical examination. Watch the full exchange to see why Bill Maher's takedown of Gavin Newsom is shaking up the political landscape.
No, I know. But he said, I don't think he could win. I don't think he could win. He's too progressive, coming from this state and what he's done in this state, to win in any southern state, any red state. I disagreed, but no, this is a progressive African-American-owned station, and I'm sure they like you, but he doesn't think you can win. What do you say to that? If you could win look at the swing states. There's only 8 of them.
Right. Well, I mean, California is an interesting case study, isn't it? It's the size of 21 state populations combined.
Yeah.
2/3 of the state is very deeply red. We don't need to be lectured on rural politics or border issues. I mean, in so many ways, these are familiar issues, and the issues of the heartland of the United States are very much a part and parcel of the work we're doing in this state. But look, I understand.
It's wild that we've reached a point where Bill Maher is the one pushing back like this against someone like Gavin Newsom, and even bringing up these kinds of questions. In the past, and even today with many mainstream platforms, figures like Newsom rarely face this level of scrutiny. If he were on The View, for example, he wouldn't be getting this kind of pushback. The hosts wouldn't press him with the tough questions. Bill Maher just did. Now we're about to see Newsom do what he does best, the classic politician maneuver. Objectively speaking, he's one of the most skilled politicians when it comes to handling tough questions. Objectively speaking. He knows how to sidestep, deflect, and reframe anything that might put him in a negative light. This is one of those moments where he's going to attempt to gaslight Maher, spinning the situation to avoid directly answering. He'll try to finesse his way out of the tough corner Maher just put him in, one that forces him and the broader left to confront uncomfortable realities.
That's an interesting one, because the department stores came to us supporting that, and they were the ones making a case for that. They were making a case they're already moving in that direction.
Wanted you to make a law about them?
Well, but they supported the legislation. It wasn't legislation that was enacted, that was initiated from my office, but it was legislation that came up with interesting support from the industry itself. But I understand how that's exploited, and good people can disagree. But that's not something we woke up and said, this is a top priority for the state, when we know the top priorities are homelessness, housing, the issues of crime, quality of life, and issues related to regulation and taxes, which are all top of mind. But I get how those things are weaponized.
All right, so one, I got you here, because I live here and I'm not going anywhere. So I just want to make this a better state like everybody else.
Amen.
And good job this year making it rain.
You're welcome. That was
yeah.
That was my legislative priority.
It was looking bad there for a while, and we still don't have enough water in the Colorado River and all this stuff.
Yeah.
I also want you to take note of just how awkward and eerily quiet it was when Bill Maher was pressing Gavin Newsom with tough questions. The silence in the crowd was almost palpable. You could feel the uneasiness in the room as Maher pushed back. Then when Newsom finally responded, if you can even call it a response, let me know in the comments if you understood what he was actually saying. Because to me, it was just word salad. It didn't seem like he answered the question at all. And sure, that's part of the job as a politician, dodging tough questions, but this wasn't just avoiding the question. It was completely sidestepping it altogether. What's even more mind-blowing is that after all that, he still got a full round of applause from Maher's audience for an answer that wasn't even an actual answer. That right there shows just how deep the ideological bias runs. But I have to give credit where it's due, respect to Bill Maher for at least challenging his own audience and putting those tough questions out there, even when it's unpopular.
And then whenever I read 80% of the water goes to agriculture. Almonds.
Right.
No one ever asked you about almonds? Oh, I'm going to ask you about almonds. We grow a boatload of almonds
I'm well
here.
aware.
You know how much water it takes?
Many gallons.
1,900 gallons to grow a pound of almonds. Yeah. Come on, man. Take on big almond.
Take on big almonds.
I mean, it's not like we don't have the water.
No.
But
you're right about it. It's not that we don't have the water. That said, the last couple of years were tough. I mean, but it's also where the water's falling and we're not capturing it. And we're not capturing in those extreme years with these atmospheric rivers. Wets are getting a lot wetter, dry's drier, hot's getting a lot hotter. And so we've got to modernize our conveyance system. We've got to modernize our storage, not just above ground, but below ground. And so that's a big part of our focus and frame, including desalinization plants. We have 20 projects just on desal that we're working on today. So we put out a detailed water strategy that includes, by the way, getting that Delta conveyance project back up and operational, and includes the first above ground off stream storage facility in half a century in the state, which, by the way, is being aided by a regulatory package I pushed forward to reduce red tape in the state of California and address the permitting quagmires that you rightfully pointed out.
say here. You're good at this.
What?
See, I'm telling you, you're good at this job. Okay, but here's, I feel like the last couple of years you've like purposely picked this fight with the red states. I mean, the
Yes.
but I don't want to live in the Civil War country.
I agree with that.
You know what?
Well,
but you seem like you purposely want to set up this dichotomy between, oh, this is a blue state and that's a red state.
Yeah.
And I don't want to live in that country. I like Florida.
I'm with you. And by the way, I like Florida as well. I like all these states. I completely agree. I don't want to have a state of mind that's a constant fight or flight. We've gone through so much. We've been polarized and traumatized. There's been a tough 5-6 years across the globe, not just in this country.
That was a whole lot of words that didn't really say anything. But I have to admit, I love the fact that Bill Maher actually pressed Gavin Newsom with a real question. Maher brings up California's water problems, an issue that directly affects the state, and immediately Newsom goes straight to the default talking point, global warming. Maher even made a half-joking, but still serious point. Why don't they just grow almonds somewhere else? Like, why not Maine? It's a tradition of chairs. I thought that as in theory, it Jersey. Why is so much of California's precious water supply going into almonds instead of being managed more efficiently? But Newsom didn't engage with the question. He just fell back on the same scripted response politicians always use. It's just so predictable at this point. No matter what the issue is, they always find a way to circle back to the same generic climate change rhetoric instead of actually addressing the problem at hand. Thank you so much for watching and for being a part of this conversation. If you enjoyed the content, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Your support helps us keep these discussions going and brings more unfiltered takes straight to you. Thanks again. We appreciate you.